Welcome back to Tech Garage. We are one step closer to getting our Spartan engine fired up. Now, when it comes to the ECM with your Terminator kit, you have a few considerations to make. You want to locate it either on the firewall or possibly an inner fender or even in the glove box to get it up out of the elements and away from heat. On our PRW stand here, we're going to locate it down below the exhaust manifold and out of the way. Now, Holley has done a great job preparing us for success on this whole project. They even gave us the wiring harness we need to get power from the Optima battery over to the ECM itself. And of course, that only connects one way, right in, locked in, and now we've got power to the ECM. I'll come back and secure that in a minute. The next step is the wiring harness. And if you're old school and you've ever had a Holley rebuild kit, you know that Holley puts everything in that kit you need, from the power valves, maybe even the jets and the gaskets, everything you need. They've put the same intelligence and planning into this wiring harness. All those sensors John talked about, they got a story to tell. They want to talk, so we've got to get connected to them. Considerations for the wiring harness are pretty straightforward. You want to follow the flow of the connectors, and again, try to keep this beast up out of some heat and out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed and start to lay it out, make all the appropriate connections. And then finally, fuel. We got to get this thing full of fuel because it really wants to work. There's higher pressure, it's a higher pressure fuel pump. We got to get that in line. And even though there's not much distance between our fuel supply and the new throttle body, the functionality is going to be exactly the same as it is on your vehicle. You got to have more pressure and you got to have the right fuel lines and connectivity. So we are one step closer and this thing's going to run like a champ.
Now, our email question of the week has to do with the fuel system. Kurt from Los Angeles wrote in, and he said he has a S10 pickup truck that lacks power. Just replaced the fuel filter and the catalytic converter, and it's still sluggish. Looks like you're on the right track here. Something to do with air fuel. Now, your car, it could have a throttle body, depending on the year, or multi-port. But you had a fuel pump, probably looks like this in the tank. This one puts out about 13 to 15 PSI with this throttle body. If you have a multi-port system, you're going to need anywhere from 40 to maybe 60, could even be a little bit higher. So you want to check fuel pressure and current ramping of that fuel pump. Make sure that it's going all right, and also check on your airflow. Kurt, yours is going to be real similar to ours over there on the Holley system, except your fuel pump's actually going to be located in the tank, and we got a pre-filter. But you can see ours here. It comes out of the tank through the pre-filter. It's going to go through the actual fuel pump itself, and then it's going to go through a fuel filter. You said that replaced that already? Good idea. Comes down, it's going to go through your throttle body or multi-port, and then it's going to return through a pressure regulator back to the tank. So you want to make sure you have good fuel pressure, and you want to make sure you got good airflow going in there. Remember, Kurt, spark, fuel, and air, if all those are in order, your car's going to run fine.
And there's the last little bit of new oil change as promised. We got new 50/50 coolant in the system from Prestone. We got that topped off as well. We've tentatively checked for leaks. I think we're in good shape. And of course, you remember the ECM we installed down here? We had to get the parameter set on here. That was pretty easy to do.
Yeah, nothing to that. Actually, on the control head itself, does everything. No laptop required. You remember you had to sit over in the passenger seat and program everything? Not anymore. Remember throughout the whole show? Self-learning, really cool. Went to the Wizard, GCF Wizard, and set it up. TPS, we had to do a sweep. Take the throttle up, take the throttle back 2 times. It's ready to go. Go back home. I'll tell you what, ignition system, Proform water pump, whew, all this stuff, it should be good. Cross your fingers.
I'll tell you, the old sweep I used to do on my carbureted engine was with my foot, so I'm really excited to hear how this thing runs.
Let's see what happens. Here's the fuel pump, coolant circulating.
Coolant, got no leaks.
No leaks,
Fuel's
looking good.
good. Fuel's good.
Ready?
Fire it up, buddy. Strong, strong, no leaks, nicely done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good stuff. I'll tell you, there's one thing, if you're old school like me, that remains the same. You know, and even though it's not a carburetor sitting on top of the engine to hold this guy, it goes on just exactly like a carbureted application would.
Well, you know what? That's not only pretty. I got a perfect candidate vehicle for this engine here. Stay tuned.
It's got to go in something.
Hey, thanks for watching. From our garage to your garage. Thanks for watching Tech Garage.
Production assistance for Tech Garage is provided by Chipola College, located in Marianna, Florida. Founded in 1947, Chipola was recently ranked as one of the top 3 community colleges in the United States.